Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 8 of the UFL for predictions for week 8 of the UFL. Four more games to play. Some teams still fighting for their playoff hopes, so we shall see how this one goes. Before we dive right into it, I want to quickly say if you're new, subscribe, we greatly appreciate it. Leave a like and comment down below your own thoughts for this week. So, now with all that being said, let's take a look at the games. We kick things off Friday night at 8 p.m. EST with the game that is for the number one overall pick, basically, as the Memphis Showboats make the trip to play the San Antonio Brahmas. The Memphis Showboats have already been eliminated from playoff contention, so they have announced that they're running a platoon-style quarterback system for the next few weeks. It's going to be E.J. Perry, Troy Williams, and Dresser Wynn all getting some snaps throughout the weeks, so that way they can figure out who their guy is for next season. And with that, I definitely am skeptical on Memphis. I'm already not a big fan of a 2 QB system when it's for a team that it has been playing well in the season. I understand the mindset behind going to this style of a quarterback tree, but still, I'm not a big fan of it. But again, this is for the number one overall pick. San Antonio, they're about to get eliminated, it seems. They're not quite eliminated just yet, technically, but they are basically there. And after this weekend, I think as long as St. Louis and DC handle business, they're going to be eliminated. So, interesting one. This is another home game for San Antonio. They don't have a lot of them this season. And Kevin Hogan still expected to get the start. You still have Marquis Stevenson. You still have Jacob Harris. You still have a team there that played well against DC the week prior. I am going to pick San Antonio to win, though I really am going back and forth between who I have in this game. I just don't really know. Both of these two teams are not great this season. So I'm going to pick the team that is still fighting for their lives at this point and the team that's not eliminated. So I'm going to go with San Antonio. Next up, we have a little bit of an interesting situation as we have some regional games. Saturday at 1 p.m. EST, some parts of the nation will be getting the Michigan Panthers traveling to the Houston Roughnecks in what has become a must-win game for Houston. They have overperformed my expectations this season, even with that really bad loss to Birmingham last week. And it's because of that bad loss last week that this is must win, as I'm 99% sure they get eliminated with a Michigan and Birmingham win this week, because that'll push them back to 3 games behind both of them. So this is a really big week for Houston. A team that's been playing really, really well is going against, in my opinion, what is the best team in the league this week. Toatawa has done a great job replacing an injured Matthew Colbert and has even emerged as the main back in that backfield. And Bryce Perkins has really overperformed how I thought he was going to play this season and is looking like a league MVP, making some incredible plays week in, week out. I do have the Panthers winning this game, and I could talk days in and days in about how good this offense has been. The main thing I want to harp on in this final bits here is the fact that the defense has been playing incredibly well, even without Breland Speaks being active for the majority of this season. And they have pretty much mastered the conversion attempt philosophy, it seems, at this point. They are 12 for 18 on 1-point tries. They attempt the most 1-point tries out of any team in the league, and it has won them multiple games. It is what won them their game last week against Arlington. I'm really high on Michigan. I have them winning once again this week. And the other regional game for Week 8 is the Birmingham Stallions making a trip to play the St. Louis Battlehawks. This game is interesting to say the least. Both teams have been without their starting quarterbacks for a little while at this point, and in those absences of the starters from the beginning of the season, Max Duggan has come in and played really well for St. Louis, and they've been playing their style of football very unapologetically. A defense that plays really well, a ground game that is going to be forced and going to be effective in one way or another, and they can still beat you through the air if you're caught sleeping. Meanwhile, since Alex McGough went down in week 2 for Birmingham, they have played a multitude of other quarterbacks throughout the season as they keep getting hurt as well. But there seems to be an inkling that Alex McGough might be back soon. Maybe this week, maybe next week, who really knows, but he seems like he's on his way back. So even with that though, it does feel like that Jamar Smith might be getting the start for Birmingham this week. It's going to be a very weird case, as they have 3 guys who could potentially be started, and it's been an offense that has been desperate for a consistent starter for a long time this season. This is definitely the most vulnerable we have seen Birmingham. Because of that, I am going with St. Louis. The other big thing about this game is this is going to be the biggest game that Birmingham will play on the road in a long time. Going to be traveling to St. Louis. The Dome is a massive home field advantage in the UFL. I feel like it's going to make a massive impact in this game, so I do have the Battlehawks for that. And the final game of the week, The Arlington Renegades make the trip to play the DC Defenders Sunday at noon EST. Luis Perez is coming off of what might be his best passing game of the season, and it's been a season that has been full of good passing games, but I do really like how he threw the ball in his last one against Michigan, which was a really, really tough loss for Arlington to give up. DC is coming off of a tight game against San Antonio. In a game that Tiamu played well, the offense stepped up. Wasn't fully sure what the defense was doing, but eventually they made a few good plays to get them to win. Last time these two teams played, it was a shootout. An incredible game to watch, really fun game to watch. This is going to be a very interesting one. I don't see it being that same 37-32 type of shootout that the first one was. I could see this being a very solid 20-17 type game. And in that type of game, I'm going to lead DC. I do have the Defenders winning this game. I feel like last week's defensive performance was more so a fluke, as San Antonio has gotten the better of their defense in the past, but so has Luis Perez. So really, who knows? I'm just leading with a hot hand in this. The Defenders have a long way to go if they want to solidify that home field for the playoffs, as they are battling with St. Louis for it right now. This is a very important game, as they're really more so looking forward to that Week 10 matchup. But we'll talk about that matchup when we get to Week 10. Give me the Defenders to win this game. Well, there you have it. My predictions for Week 8 of the UFL season. We got 3 weeks left. I'm going to be live for every single game the rest of the season. So if you are new, subscribe is greatly appreciated, and tune into some of the play-by-plays. It would also be greatly appreciated. Leave a like, comment down below your thoughts for Week 8, and I'll see you all next time. Have yourselves a damn good one. Peace.